EJ's dreaming late at night, building up with all his might. He's on under desert light, Pakistan in sight. Sand beneath construction signs, workers forging oil refines. Sleds and gears a perfect rhyme. It's his world, he's on a climb. Oil rules the land he stands, mogul now with steady hands. From the sand his fame expands, EJ's dreaming foreign sands. Rise in perfect sync, pipelines flow, no time to blink. Resources here, they interlink. Dozens on the brink. Late nights streaming on the screen, his vision clear, his thoughts pristine. Oil-rich world in constant sheen. Dagestan's the scene. He stands, mogul now with steady hands. From the sand his fame expands, EJ's dreaming foreign sands.
Hey, how's everybody doing? You tired? I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Good afternoon. It's October 25th, 2024. Today is Friday in California. Shoot! Oh, man. You have small eyes today. Thank you. Oh, yeah. I'm a little beat. Not gonna lie to you. I had a dream last night about spider webs. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder. Gee, that's I wonder how that happened. Wonder where that came from. See last urgent. It's not urgent. It's not urgent. Boeing should sell its commercial space division to ULA. They should sell it to ULA and have Tory Bruno fix everything, because that's what he'll do. Alright, so. Yeah. Let me get Synergy up and running here. Actually, I gotta fix one thing. Turn that sound down there. Turn that up there. Move that window up there. Alright. That probably has something to do with why I had a dream about spiderwebs last night. Do you think Blue will buy it? I mean, Drummer, there is some validity to it, but yeah, we'll wait until it officially happens. Yeah, there is some. Boeing's Q4 meeting or Boeing's shareholder meeting that they had a couple of days ago included cost allocation for termination fees for Starliner contracting. It's not ideal. But yeah, they haven't done it yet. Just because they're allocating money for it doesn't mean it'll happen, but it also might. Screw that. I don't want to talk about bad news. Look at that. So Blue could potentially buy it. There's no indication that that's going to happen, Nova, but they could. But anyway, how are you guys all doing? Damn, dude, we got a lot of work done. Look at that. That's a significant chunk of the superstructure that we belted out. Look at that. Dude, I don't remember doing this. I was gassed. Like, I remember putting this all together, but I don't remember, like, the intricate details. And, yeah, I definitely had a dream about spiderwebs because of that. Good afternoon. Just finished watching Dragon Splashdown. Yeah. Guys, a little bit of an update on that. The Crew 8 crew was sent to the hospital out of an abundance of caution after they egressed from Dragon. Now, fellas, I'm not going to say I saw that capsule fence something last night when they were getting out, but I definitely saw that capsule fence something last night when they were getting out. I definitely have not seen that before. I was thinking about it. Definitely haven't seen Dragon vent when it's on the ship, but it definitely, something came out of one of the vents on the side while they were doing egress operations. Like, it was a forward vent. I don't know what it does. I'll be 100% real. If it was an RCS thruster, you got big problems. But I don't think it was. Here, real quick, let me show you. So, if you look at a Dragon 2 spacecraft, right? If you look at Dragon, it was one of those thrusters right there. Actually, it was the ones on the other side. So, let's take a look here. The door... is that the side with the door on it? It was that one right there. Something came out of that hole. I don't know what that thing does, but I saw it, and I didn't think nothing of it at the time. I just said, oh, if they're not making a big deal out of it... Yeah, that one. No, the door isn't there. The hatch is facing downward, so it would be one of those ones. Because the way the Dragon was recovered. It was that thing. It was right in the middle. So it was whatever that is right there. That thing. See this guy right here? That little guy? That thing vented something. I don't know what this thing is. I have no idea. I know those are... I think that's RCS, but then again, the RCS is right there. I'm not sure what those are. Isn't that the nav light? I don't know, Jim. I don't know. It was something... I mean, if it is, then I'm wrong and it's one of these things. But I definitely saw something vent out of it, dude. Okay, if that's the light, it probably... If the light vented, fellas, then we probably got an issue. I don't know. It would then... If it wasn't that, it was one of those. It was one of these two. Those little guys right there. So, I don't know what that means. Aren't those RCS? If it is all systems and one of them outgassed during egress operations, then yeah, that's not good. That's most likely, if I had to guess, like, that's probably the reason. If I had to guess, I don't know for sure. So an anomaly investigation inbound? I don't know. It depends. Yeah, maybe maybe they could. Oh wait, we have the... Oh, I don't have the jetpack on. Jetpack on. Have a pack. Alright, let's go check on the Tychos. That's the nav light? Yeah, okay, cool. That's the nav light, guys. Sorry, you gotta give me a second, man. You have to give me a second. I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to be awake enough for Flame Trench because I am like... Hello, no, yeah. Sabadoo. Hello! How many hours did you not sleep? I went to bed at 5. 5:30. I got in at like 4:30, and then the dog Titan wanted to play, and he wouldn't stop barking. Not barking. He wouldn't stop like, hey, human. Hey, human. Hey, I want to play. So I took him outside, and he went to the bathroom, and I convinced him that doing that was playful enough. And then I made myself some chicken nuggets. If you really want to know, Titan had a couple, so he sat, you know, with dogs, having a treat calms them down. That's what I'm learning from, you know, dog trainers and stuff. So I got him to calm down. I had some chicken nuggies. Titan had a couple chicken nuggies because he wanted chicken nuggies. He loves chicken nuggies. That's his favorite. And yeah, Titan fell asleep on me at about 5:30. 5:30 in the morning. I woke up probably around 8. Because that's when Primo has to get up, and then I went back to sleep and woke up at probably like 11:30. So 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. Or, well, it's about 3.5 hours of sleep, and then 9, 10, 11. So I got about 6 hours cumulatively. I'm good. That's more than enough, dude. We're good. Have you been up since last night? No. No, I got some sleep, dudes. We're good. I'm alright. Whenever you... So, I prepared for it, guys. I got a lot of sleep the night before. Turbo Motors! Thank you, Taito. I got a lot of sleep the night before. Wednesday night, I stopped early. We stopped, and okay, my brain just completely stopped. Wednesday night into Thursday night, I got a lot of sleep. I got like 9 hours of sleep, and it was good sleep. So, yeah, we're good on that front. So I was able, that's kind of the secret, you know, like people ask me, like, how do you bust out a 16.5-hour stream? Well, you got to prepare. You can't just do that. You can't just bust out a 16-hour stream out of the blue. That's not how that works. You will fail. Like, believe me, I've tried. I got a lot of sleep the night before. I made sure that, you know, we had all the provisions, so coffee, Red Bull later, but I drank the Red Bull strategically. I drank the Red Bull pretty much right after Space News last night because I knew that would time me over basically until the end of Splashdown. And then at Splashdown, I would crash. Because you don't want to nurse the Red Bull all the way till the end of the stream because you're never going to sleep then, right? So there's a little bit of tactics involved here, dudes. But, yeah, I got a good amount of sleep the night before, well rested, and so, you know, today I can afford getting basically totally crappy sleep and be all right. Like, and now, okay, just in case anybody's taking this as like streaming advice or something, look, I'm gonna be real with you. That's not healthy. It's not healthy doing what I did. Like, it's not. I'm a professional moron. I get paid to do this. Don't do stuff like this. It's bad for you. Okay? Nursing a Red Bull to stay up an extra like 6 hours and totally destroying your sleep schedule is not good for you. Okay? This is for the younger viewers, just in case you're watching, and VOD viewers. Don't do this. Trust me. I do it because I get paid. And I get paid very well because of it. Okay? Don't hurt your body like that. It's not good for it. Yeah, no, I'm never doing that again, RJ. That was funny though. Don't do stuff like that. You might be able to get away with it when you're young, but trust me, when you get up to my age, you'll feel it. You will feel it. Don't abuse your body like that. That's really bad for it. I don't do it all the time. Like, the crazy thing is that we were doing that every day during the pandemic. I don't know how I did that. Desperation, maybe? Hey, Chief, happy Friday. Today is Friday in California. But yeah, if you want to know, like, I'm pretty transparent about how I do this. It's just caffeine at the right times and getting a good night's sleep before. You got to prepare for stuff like this. But once again, it's bad for you. It's not good for you at all. Like, dude, I feel like trash right now. I'm awake. I'm pretty good, but I'm not nearly as alert as I should be. Like, I'm like, I thought a light on the side of Dragon was a thruster a second ago. Like, careful. Like, don't do stuff like this. It's not good for you. Don't hurt yourself except for money. I mean, if that's what you got from this, I guess I can't really help you. I'm telling you, getting a good night's sleep is underrated. Getting a good 6 to 8 hours of sleep, uninterrupted, real sleep, not interrupted sleep. Like, getting a good block of sleep and having a dream, like dreaming and stuff, that's good for you. It's really, you feel great in the morning. How'd this morning go? Worst, everything seems okay. Crew 8's splashdown seemed to be okay, but I noticed something weird that happened on the capsule last night. I noticed the capsule outgassed after it was on Dragon. I didn't think nothing of it at the time, to be honest with you. Oh, we need more, I need more steel. And I'm gonna, fence the turbo motors in there. I didn't think of anything of it at the time, dude. Do you exercise a lot to mitigate the sitting? I stand up a lot, Matt. Basically, when I'm... That's the other thing I gotta be better at, dude, but I stand up. Like, I eat standing up in the house. Whenever dude, if it's the weekend, right, and we're on the beach, I'll just get up and walk around. I do a lot of walking, and now that Titan's here, I walk him, and I'm out playing with him and getting some exercise. Yeah, because, yeah, sitting here is so bad for your circulation. It's super bad for you. Shaw, we could go check the VOD if we want. I mean, Matt, to be honest with you, I don't get enough exercise. I really should exercise more. But I do walk to my office every day. I don't take the car. I don't commute to work in the car. My house is very walkable. Bree and I usually take Titan to the ocean, and we walk up and down the ocean. Like the beach. We walk up and down the beach in the sand every weekend. We've been doing that for a good while now. We're gonna do that tomorrow. So yeah, I probably should get more. But anyway, so it's interesting that because that dragon, I saw it outcast, and I didn't think anything of it because nobody on board thought it was a big deal, right? All the people were just going about their business, right? I gotta get steel. That's what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, it's probably fine. And then... I hear... The first thing that I checked when I checked my phone this morning is that Crew 8's going to the hospital out of an abundance of caution. Now, once again, we looked at the thruster positions on that dragon, right? I thought the light was a dragon, which... got me going about how you should get a good night's sleep because that's a light, it's not a thruster. It was that. Something came from one of those. Whatever those things are. I don't think they're RCS, but they might be RCS. I'd have to go and really look. We did see Dragon's RCS going like crazy last night. I don't recall ever seeing that before, but the Draco thrusters were firing like crazy. right before drogue deployments, they were firing like absurdly. Now, if I had to put it out there and if I had to guess, that's probably a different descent regime to align the capsule for a potential Super Draco firing if needed. That's my guess. I don't ever recall seeing the RCS do that before. Hey Dean, you back over on YouTube today? Have I read Berger's book, Reentry or Liftoff? No, Pop, but I hear they're quite good, despite my kind of displeasement with Eric's reporting on Artemis. You know, he's actually a super good writer, like, for real. I've read some passages from it, I'm like, damn, dude, this guy's good at writing. He's pretty good, man. Something also did hit the parachute. That's right, Linus. Yeah. Something came off Dragon and hit one of the drogues on the way down. Now, once again, crew came down just fine. But also, I've never seen anything hit the parachutes on Dragon before. I would absolutely be looking at that. So, yeah, something was funny with it last night. I'll show you guys a little bit later, maybe. Can I show some of the things that happened? Yeah, sure. Before we jump into Satisfactory, we'll just do it now. Give me 1 second. SpaceX. Let's see. Let's see if they showed the drogues.
9 a.m.
All right, watch. Watch. It's the next shot after this. Dude, Hokey, there's stuff coming off of that capsule. See? Look.
Drogue parachute.
Now that could be stuff in the background, but something is coming off. Dude, they cut the camera. They didn't show it. It's the next frame. Something comes off and gets caught in the drogue and then shoots off the side, dude. That's not even the worst of it. Hold on. All right, watch. Oh, there it goes.
In the background.
All right. It's over here. Up there. But let me show you the whole drogue thing. So, Hokey, it's in here somewhere. All right, watch. So yeah, Hokey, two things, dude. I noticed the Dracos are pulsing like crazy during like post-plasma. So after the plasma, I mean, we know the RCS is firing through the plasma, but right before the drogues, this thing is just going into overdrive, dude. Here, let me back it up a little bit. Watch. All right, drummer, I think I found it. Thank you for the clips, though. Yeah, Felipe, the VOD would show it. Let me just... So, look. See the pulse? I mean, there's the strobe lights, right? Watch. Look. See? Look, dude, you see all that? That's no good. Like, okay, everything is fine, and I'm not concern trolling. If it was me, and I was running this program, that's unacceptable. That should not have happened. You do not screw with parachutes. Absolutely not. You need to know exactly what that is, why it came off, and how it did it before you bring another one of these down.
Pacific time.
Because
so
just because something went wrong this time doesn't mean it won't go wrong again. That's definitely not supposed to happen. Especially, nothing is supposed to hit the drogues. No way. That's not supposed to happen. Dude, if it punched a hole in the drogues, you'd have a big problem. Who knows? It may have. Now watch. See? That's not a star in the background. That's something coming off Dragon. Okay? Here, let's slow down the playback speed. Watch. Something else comes off right there. We don't know what that is. I mean, we do know that there is a parachute hatch that does fly off, but that usually flies off with the parachutes when the main chutes deploy. But I've never seen anything get stuck in a drogue like this next piece of debris. Like that. Look, it's inside of the drogue. That right there is definitely unknown behavior. That absolutely, it's not supposed to do that. Something gets caught in the drogue, hits the drogue, splits in half, and flies off. That's bad. What could it be? Don't know. Chief, I have no idea. It's so hard to tell from the IR picture. That's not right. I know enough about this to know that SpaceX is definitely looking into this. It's definitely a problem. Is that the problem with Crew 8 going to the hospital? No, I don't think so. If we go a little bit further in, after they move Dragon in amidships with the hatchery thing, give it a second. Check the capsule's covers for Super Dracos. Yeah. Hokey, do you think it could be the covers popping off of the Super Dracos and prep, like, to put them into a firing mode for potential abort sequence? That's a good, dude, that's a good call. Yeah, because you'd want to prime the Super Dracos, right? You'd have to pressurize the Super Dracos because we know that the Dragon capsules are rated to do a propulsive landing if there is a parachute failure. SpaceX did confirm that. So yeah, it could be the plugs for the Super Dracos. Wouldn't blow off the covers after initial ignition. Well, Hellfish, you wouldn't want them plugged, right? If you're pressurizing the system and you had a leaky valve, maybe that's what happened. Hokey, yeah, I would be very much inclined to agree with you, dude. I mean, you know more than me about this, man. This is the first one that landed like that. Thanks, dude. X videos is awful. How hard is it to just scroll through the VOD? Like, is this difficult? Dude, I'm just gonna go watch my VOD, dang it. This is ridiculous. I've never had to do this before. I've never really had to do this. Now, if it were the plugs, wouldn't we have seen 4 of them about the same time? Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. All right. I found the VOD. Carolox. Hey, let's... you're probably not wrong. Let's not get caught up in that, man. Like, not in here, dude. I would ask very respectfully to please don't do that in here. We only got another, like, 2 weeks of this crap. Please. I mean, it's not gonna stop, you know, but just spare me. Spare me, man. Please, dude. Mercy Street. Alright, dudes. Watch. See, my mouse cursor is on it here. Alright, let's see. See it? Right there. Look. Back it up. Watch. Watch over here. Yeah. Yeah, he moved it when he adjusted the rigging, dude. Look. What the heck was that about? See what I sent you on Discord. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Okay, what's this, creeper? Yeah, creeper. It's just tough because I have to change synergy back and forth for Satisfactory. It's really annoying. Is it coming from the top hatch seal? I don't know. No, my eyes suck, creeper. What is that? Air 3x air ventilation ports used during splashdown. If it's the air vent systems, guys, it's obviously not a big deal. But also, at the same time, I don't ever recall that happening before. But then again, maybe I've watched too many of these that I've forgotten more than probably forgotten a lot more little details than I've seen. I would have remembered if it was doing stuff like that, man. Did you switch games and back? No. I am playing Satisfactory. I want to play Satisfactory. I wanted to save this for Flame Trench, dude. I agree, Hokey. I don't ever recall that happening, man. Straight pipes are coming in Satisfactory 1.1. What does that mean, Jackery? Straight pipes? The pipes are already straight. Could have been blocked by the rigging. Yeah, Dean, maybe. Like I said, I don't ever remember outgassing like that from a Dragon capsule at that point in Egress. I've watched every single one of them. I've watched every single Dragon recovery. Some of them not live, but... Oh, like what you can do with the belts now. Yeah, oh, okay. That's cool. Did you start a new build in 1.0? Yeah, Ginger, this is a new build. This isn't my Vabtory factory. This is crazier. Here, let me show you. So, if you notice, this parking garage is quite large. Here, let's go over here. Hey, ASZOD, what's going on? I decided I wanted to make, before we wanted to make a vertical main bus, and that was a cool idea. I ended up never executing on it, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself. So what I did was I made this even more difficult by wanting to make my factory into a gigantic ship from Halo. If anybody here is familiar with the Pillar of Autumn from Halo, I decided I wanted to make my factory inside of the Pillar of Autumn from Halo. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, Ginger, I did restart. Yeah. That little guy down there, that's just my feeder factory for making concrete and steel to build the truss structure out for the ship. All of the thrusters on Dragon are hydrazine, Tessa. They sniffed around. They said the sniffing was okay, but like I said, even if that's just an air vent port, if it's not something that should be happening, don't take any chances, right? So, yeah, they probably saw something. It could be that vent. It might not be. Who knows? They probably saw something and were like, nope. An epic stare into the camera. Yeah. I've been working on the octagonal structure of the Pillar of Autumn. The Pillar of Autumn is a ship from Halo. I have all my tabs open. I keep all this stuff kind of bookmarked. That thing. Ginger, if you remember the Grissoms from Kerbal, I based the Grissom off the Pillar of Autumn. It's one of my all-time favorite ships from sci-fi. Like any sci-fi. Yeah, I love that thing. Because I'm a big Halo fan, right? So, I decided, let's build a factory in there. Because why not? Like, no one else is going to do that. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying, like, what people do in Satisfactory right now isn't impressive, right? But every single build kind of has this cyberpunk. Every really crazy showcase build has this kind of cyberpunk, Blade Runner vibe going on. And I just didn't want to do that. So I picked something ridiculous. And yeah, I'm building the dry dock from Reach, which is what that parking garage structure is. I'm gonna build the hold down arms. And I'm going to put my factory inside of this giant 1,100 meter long ship. Now, in Halo lore, they do explain how the ship is manufactured. This is lore from Bungie. This is how the ship is made. It's made with an octagonal structure. It's actually described in pretty good detail in the books, right? And it's explained in the game if you play Halo CE and you play the Pillar of Autumn level, why there's just some random structures going through the ship. Like, if you ever notice you're walking down a hallway, you see a spar that's diagonally going through. Well, it's the octagonal structure. So I decided that would be a good place to start to help extrapolate dimensions here. And that's exactly what I'm doing. We're working on the biggest hull segment of the ship. The ship is divided into 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 being your propulsion section. Hull segment 4 is where the bulk of the ship is and where most of the big components are. So, we figured out, we extrapolated how big one of those octagons is, how big one of the cubes is that holds it together, and made those into blueprints. I was about to say sub-assemblies because KSP. And, yeah, I've been working on the octagonal structure since. It's big, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, IMC, exactly. UNSC ships are probably the best ships in sci-fi. It's basically a big flying gun. Alright, Dean, enjoy your meeting. Halo's awesome. Play the original Bungie games from Halo. You don't need to play any of the 343 stuff. It's fan fiction. It's garbage. Yeah, Jens, the original Halo stuff is super cool. No mention of the ship crew going to the hospital and they were exposed more. What do you mean no mention? I just got done talking about it, Dark Crew. Where's the elevator? There's no elevators in Satisfactory, but there are elevator shafts on the ship, ARJ. That's a big question mark for me for figuring out how to put this thing together. I'm starting with the structure and deck spacing, as you saw, and hoping that that kind of is enough to figure it out. It's kind of an unknown. Honestly, it's probably a lot of fan fiction that's better than 343's writing. Facts. Moon, I'm alright. How about you? No, the crew working on the boat, only the astronauts went to the hospital. Oh, interesting, Dark Crew. The plot thickens. ODST is super underrated, Ginger. I might go back and play that when we're done with this. But, yeah, this is the frame of a spaceship from the 26th century. It's awesome. So what I got done last night was basically the last thing I mean, this was all a blur, dude. When you get 15, 16 hours in on a stream, you're kind of on autopilot, I'm not going to lie. I snapped back, too, during the Crew 8 coverage, but, yeah. A lot of this is busy work. What I did was I got where the cargo bays are going to go fleshed out. Where there's 4 cargo bays amidships on the Pillar of Autumn, port and starboard. 4 on each side. And you could see the dividers right there. That thing. And that thing. Those are the frames between the cargo bays. And the cargo bays are actually quite large. They go into the center of the ship. So the cargo bay is going to basically go all the way to this back wall, right? All the way to this, right here. So these grids are eventually going to get hollowed out when I have the cargo bay spacing and design finalized. I put the grids there because it's easier to build the grids pieces above and below them if you have something to build off of. So we're going to do some subtractive manufacturing with the frame of the ship sooner rather than later. Okay, drummer. Well, thank you. Thanks, Josh. I was up until the end of Splashdown for Crew 8, which Splashdown in recovery probably got me till about 4:30 in the morning. So we were up late last night. So yeah, a treat for the Pacific viewers. Yeah, Supersonic, this is good, man. I told you, once I got the deck spacing and the frame spacing figured out, this is good. This project's gonna come at you pretty fast. Yeah, it's gonna come at us quick, which is good. That's good. That's what we want. You had a lightning strike take down your internet like 30 minutes before the coverage began. Just came back online. Why didn't you change the weather guy? I was tired. Okay. So something that I noticed last night was getting the vertical stringers, the vertical cubes, or the vertical supports here. Like, I was making those manually. If we could figure out a way to make a blueprint to attach this, to attach that correctly, we could probably get this done a lot quicker. I did end up blueprinting the horizontal, which is pretty cool. But, yeah, gonna have to figure out a way to get this done right. The octagonal spheroids look like such a cool idea. Yeah, that's Bungie lore, Moon, which is still, like, kind of nutty to me. Like, that's lore from the game. Pretty crazy, right? Space news is going to be crazy today. Well, we got Flame Trench today, Bright. So, yeah, it's gonna be pretty ridiculous. All right, let's go work on the top framing up here. Let's work up high. Imagine making the pillar bottom and Space Engineers. Not gonna lie, that'd be pretty rad. Alright, so we need to measure 72 back from here. $72 is the spacing on the bulkheads for the docking base. So 40 and 32. Alright, now we need to go down 3, over 3 to get the bevel on the outside of the armor. Yeah, hey Moonsoul, it's all good. Just I saw when you had them lined up in 2D, seeing in 3D is cool. I mean, yeah, right on, man. I mean, Moon, how you gonna look at this and not be like, whoa, whoa. I'm getting height sickness from watching this. Height sickness? Yeah, man. We might need to do that whole, building out more structure. Shut up, Davis. Yeah, Source, it's, yeah, she's a little chunky, huh? Alright, 29 down. We figured out last night that you gotta make, I tried to make these manually. You have to make a holding triangle for every single one of them to keep the edge straight. 29 by 16. Alright, now make the diagonal. 33, 1, 2. For this to work right. If you were in charge of the plans to build this in real life, would the structure come together like this first? Or would the modules for different sections get more infrastructure added to them before the full framework is assembled? Self-synth, the second one, dude. Yeah, I'd probably just build the ship, fully furnish the ship in puzzle pieces. That's how they build aircraft carriers, guys. People say like, oh man, how cool would this actually be in real life? Dude, we do stuff like this in real life. Look. This is how ships are made, dude. They do the exact same thing. Here. This is the Ford getting made. Here you go. Watch. So they're laying down the keel, and look, now they're laying in frames. Now, not all of these frames are like fully furnished, but a lot of them are. A lot of them have like wiring pre-installed and stuff. So you can kind of see it. You can kind of see the decks getting put together, but see, there's the side of the hull. Look, that entire segment already has like doors, electrical all installed. So when you go to put the segments together, all you got to do is just plug them in. Yeah, that's how they do it. So yeah, it would very much be the second one, self-synth. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I don't have any blueprints. I have to extrapolate my own blueprints. So I'm making the blueprint as I go. I'll admit that's not the best way to manufacture something. This is the right way to do it. But the time it would take me to figure out where every individual deck goes, oh dear, that would take forever. So, yeah, you could see that they're putting in, see these sub-assemblies on the sides? They're kind of long and rectangular. It's because they're going to make room for the hangar deck here in a second. See, look, the tower. The tower gets assembled as one piece. See that? I mean, it's not all one piece, but look. I mean, you know how crazy that gantry crane needs to be to do that? It's pretty damn impressive. Like, look, it's just like making lasagna, man, only with metal. Just got to layer in everything. Look at that, the foxhole in one piece, dude. That's bananas. You know how heavy that damn thing is? Like, if I wasn't so obsessed with spaceflight, guys, this stream would be like all civil engineering and all like nautical engineering. I love this stuff, dude. Like, it's fascinating to see that thing built. That takes so much time to make that damn thing. Like, the fact that we just crank them out, you know, every couple of years is ridiculous. You should totally base some internal layout on real warships. I'm going to make it make sense with regards to, like, the UNSC. Look at that toe strap, dude. It's not a toe strap, I know. Like, I'm not giving it an anchor room, Hellfish, but yeah, the idea is, I guess, is what you're saying. Yeah. Look at, dude, look at that thing. Look at that monster. There's the anchor. Anchor's away. That's a big ship. Fun fact, the Pillar of Autumn is like 3 of these. The Pillar of Autumn's 3 Ford class, 3 or 4, I forget. Yeah, that's how they make ships. Every ship is made like that, not just aircraft carriers. But yeah, they're cleaning the flight deck. That's right. Yeah, let me put it to you like this. If I had a blueprint printer that could, like, if I could take the blueprints, bring them into Maya, and model the entire ship, right? I would do that, and then we'd do it in Satisfactory. But we don't have that luxury. I mean, that and it also is kind of lame to... I don't want to do that way. I mean, you probably could. But, no, I like building it this way. Yeah. I think this is a cool way to do this. Anyway. Building triangles. 3.5-ish, yeah. Yeah, and Hellfish, I know what you meant about... I know what you meant, Ari, like, base it off of... Yeah, take some liberties, you know, but... Base it off of how, like... You know, where, like, elevators are and where staircases are, etc., etc. Yeah, I'll probably do that, dude. Yeah, I agree. $33.12. Be faithful, but also make it make sense. Well, yeah, I'll make it make sense for, yeah, fighting ship from the 26th century, what it would look like. But the way I see it is, like, I'm not disagreeing, first of all. Like, sorry, I'm just tired and having trouble saying I agree. 9 by 16, there we go. My brain blanked again. Yeah. We'll try to make it right, dude. Yeah, I will. I'll do that. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. Mr. Goosen.
The Eagle has landed.
What instrument does a Spanish fisherman play? Castanets.
I don't like you. don't quite like that, mate. Dumb question, but are you more into Trek or Wars? Phase, to be honest, I liked Star Wars before I liked Star Trek. Chronologically, like, I grew up with Star Wars. I'll admit it. Star Wars is a little bit easier for a kid to get into because it's not as, the reason why is because it's not as complicated as Star Trek. But as I grew older, I grew to appreciate Star Trek a lot more. I do like both of them, though. But I'll admit I lean into Star Wars a little bit more than I do Star Trek. But I don't hate Star Trek by any means. See Phil's link. NASA statement on the Crew 8 astronauts. After splashing down on Earth as part of NASA's SpaceX Crew 8 mission, a NASA astronaut experienced a medical issue. NASA astronauts Matt Dominic, Michael Barrett, and Jeanette Epps and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Grabenkin were flown together to Ascension Sacred Heart, Pensacola, in Florida. After a medical evaluation at the hospital, 3 of the crew members departed Pensacola and have arrived at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. The one astronaut who remains at Ascension is in stable condition under observation as a precautionary measure. To protect the crew members' medical privacy, specific details of the individual's condition or identity will not be shared. During its return to Earth, Dragon executed a normal entry and splashdown. Recovery of the crew and the spacecraft was without incident. During routine medical assessments on the recovery ship, the additional evaluation of the crew members was requested out of an abundance of caution. We're grateful to Ascension Sacred Heart for its support during this time, and we're proud of our team for its quick action to ensure the safety of our crew members. The Crew 8 crew members splashed down aboard their Dragon near Pensacola, Florida, to complete a 235-day mission, 232 days of which were spent aboard the ISS. Yeah, okay, guys, that doesn't seem like it's spacecraft related. That's just an individual medical issue. It's like I was saying last night, dude. Space is rough on the body. It's a lot. It's asking a lot to come back down into the grav well. That hurts. How does Darth Vader like his toast? A little on the darker side. Would you go to space if you had the chance? Absolutely. It's like the start of a zombie movie. Dude. It kind of does. Kind of does, doesn't it? Reading between the lines, it sounds like Alexander Grabenkin had issues. Hey. It's hard to say, dude. Poor lads when F5 came back down. Do you ever play Star Sector? One of the few space games other than KSV I keep coming back to. Never played it, dude. There were some clues, subtle ones in the press release. Well, either way, man, I hope everybody's okay. You don't want this kind of stuff happening, man. It's not good. It's not good for spaceflight, you know. You don't want to wish non-well-being, I guess, on anyone that does this stuff. It's hard. Hey Sawyer. Hi from YouTube. Question, do they need specifically trained docs for returning astronauts? Everything is rehearsed, dude. Everything. Something isn't right. We're not aligned. The horizontal beam over the second dock is not right. That's correct, right there. No, that's supposed to be like that. All of them are like that, dude. Look. Screw up. That one's right. I gotta check something, dudes. It is, Moon, just a little bit, dude. Yeah, that's just because we can't really... It's hard to make beams on a decimal point. To get the math out, to get the angles right, with these, we need round numbers for I-beam length, and this is the closest you can get. It's pretty damn close, but it is just a little bit bent. Okay, Raiden, you seem to be right. Yeah, okay. You see that Binky's gonna have a new episode tomorrow? I did. I am very excited. We were talking about different automotive channels that I watch, and I didn't mention them because I was like, you know, maybe if they post something, I'll watch, but, and then wouldn't you know, out of the blue, they were like, yeah, we're gonna post this. I'm like, oh, well, that's good timing. Satisfactory in the running is in the running for the golden joystick. Cool, man. Yeah, Raiden, good eye, man. Yeah, it does bow out just a little bit right there. It's slightly obtuse, but that's okay. It's fine. I'm cool with it. Trust me, they're fine with it. Like, we'll be able to make that look okay. It's not that big of a deal. Good enough for the UNSC. Yeah, it's fine, Phase. Alright, let's do the same thing down here. Three up, three over. You gotta make all this stuff the right way. It's going through refit. It's gonna have some battle scars, yeah. Nope, that's not right. Yeah, we've made some pretty good progress, Brun, yeah. Why was I suddenly thinking Coffee Stain was run by Epic? Satisfactory did originally release on the Epic Game Store, and then they switched to Steam. They were exclusive on Epic Games for a year, and then they're on Steam and Epic Games now. I'm gonna try building all of the right angles first, just to make sure. I think this might be a little bit of a better workflow here. Will we ever get to a point where we can 3D print skyscrapers? I'm sure we will. Hey guys, just popping in to remind you that Europe doesn't have a reusable rocket and has no clear path to create one. The truth hurts, man. Damn. Our typical came in here and chose violence today. I don't know what that is, Face. Yeah, that planet's angry, though. This in VR would be something else, dude. Violence begets violence, Rothman. Fighting back is just going to make it stronger. Evil begets evil. Shooting at it is only going to make it stronger. Duh. Nice, Josh. Yeah. Raiden, I think that this is the right way to do it. Make the tries first. Make the tries first. Or the straight lines first. Then make the diagonals, right? And then connect the stringers on the long axis. I like doing it this way. It's you're much less likely. I was about to say you're much less likely to make a mistake, but I made a mistake as I was about to say that, you know. You're much less likely to make a mistake this way. And also, this gives us some pretty rad structure to be able to tie into. To tie the octogrids into. It'll be easier to figure out deck placement and how to tie all this in structurally this way. I actually like this way of doing it. Adding these right triangles in. I think this is optimum workflow. I think we can get better. It's possible we might be able to do a blueprint for these triangles, but I'm not really, I still haven't thought of how. What are you doing for those that just joined? Yeah, no more. This is my big jungle gym. No. So I'm building a ship. This is a shipyard. See, we got a big space dry dock here. If you want scale, down there, that's not like a little note or something. That's a door all the way down there. Yeah, see it? It's big. The reason why is because I'm building a gigantic spaceship. Why am I building a gigantic spaceship? I don't know, because I can. Everybody builds their factories on the ground. Screw that. Or on a big plate, concrete plate, and call it a day. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on that by any means. I just wanted to do something different. So I decided to build my factory into that instead. That's the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. It's a very... it's from the Halo universe, the Halo series of video games, if you don't know. The Pillar of Autumn is... the Pillar of Autumn to Halo is what the Millennium Falcon is to Star Wars. It is like... it's so personified in the... it's like a character, you know what I mean? In the Halo series. It's so essential to the story. Now... the Pillar of Autumn appears in multiple Halo games. It appears in Reach and Halo 1. When it's in Halo Reach, which is a prequel to Halo 1, it's in Dry Dock. So, you know, I thought, you know, with 1.0 out, and now don't get me wrong, it's in UE5, right? But I believe update 7 or 8 was the original Unreal Engine 5 port, right? But fact, like 1.0 is super polished, and with UE5 you know, because it's super polished, I decided to start a new save. And when I decided to start a new save, I said, you know, let's play through the story, have some fun, but let's build big. Let's abuse UE5. Because I already had like a factory built out before, but it was designed to basically scale for UE4, right? With UE5, you can build at scale, and your computer clearly doesn't care. Like, I don't have a really good computer. It's just a pretty decent computer from, I don't know, I'd say it would be cutting edge for like maybe 2018 or 2019. Like, I don't have the best computer specs around, but UE5 is clearly able to scale and build big. So I figure, you know, 1.0, a lot of people are going to be watching. Let's do something crazy. So I decided to build the Pillar of Autumn, and I decided to put my factory inside of it. Yeah, no more 8s. I know, everybody knows Halo, but dude, when I originally started giving this explanation, people were like, yeah, I don't know what the Pillar of Autumn is. I was like, oh, it's the Pillar of Autumn from Halo. People were like, what is that? I'm like, what? What? Really? Because, I mean, yeah, no, I'm a nutso Halo fan. Like, I love, like, okay, you can either hate me or like me because of this. I don't think this is the most controversial take around, but I don't like post-Bungie Halo games. I'm not a fan. They're awful. Really don't like them. Not to crap on other people's work, but yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all. But the original Halo games were very much a part of my childhood, just like everybody else. I love Halo. It's one of my all-time favorite sci-fis. It's up there with like Battlestar Galactica, you know, Star Trek, Stargate. It's up there with the greats for me. What's my favorite Halo game? Halo 2 is probably my all-time. That's the one I find that I'm quoting the most. Would it not just be a dock? It's a spaceship, so why would there be a wet dock for it? Might be stupid. Because nautical nomenclature sometimes carries over to other things, Jack. Like how a crane, which never sees water or has nothing to do with a sailboat, has parts on it called a jib. And a jib mast. Nautical terms can carry over, just because it's not a nautical ship. Doesn't mean that you don't have to, you can't borrow nautical terms, right? So, you're right, this isn't a wet dock. You're very perceptive, there's no water in it, and there would be no water in it because this is a spacecraft, okay? It's not the Bebop, you know what I mean? Anybody? You get it. So what are you gonna call this then? A dry dock? A moist dock. You know? I said dry dock, and it's very interesting because you knew exactly what I was talking about. And you knew enough to know that I was talking about to bring up the wait, it's not a dry dock, it's a wet dock. See what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I guess you could... Right? You make a solid argument. I mean, like, what else are you gonna call it? Earth dock? Regolith dock? I know what we should... You know what, Jack? You drive a hard bargain. I know what we should call it. We should call it a catch tower. Should call it a catch tower. Cheers. Yep. In lore, it does catch the ship. That's what these arms do. That's why they're so beefy. They do catch the ship. Those are hold down. Those are catch arms. So the ship does the reverse of that. You don't see it land in the games. You see it take off, right? But yeah, they said to bring the thing down, it needs to have thrust augmentation for an atmospheric travel. The Halcyon class cruisers, right? Did we just become best friends? Yup. You need to have the thruster retrofit, right? You need to have those, and the ship actually will do a retro burn, right? They'll use its main engines to bring it down near the atmosphere. They'll fire the thrusters, and it'll hover over the flame trench, and the arms will catch it. Nothing goes over my head. I'm too fast. I will catch it. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna not play this whole scene out because that's one of the most badass scenes I've ever seen. Ever. Oh, celestial seasonings. Oh yeah. This is just... Oh, that's so sick. I want this in real life. I'm sorry, guys. I want to see this in my lifetime. I want that. That's badass, dude. I mean, the closest thing we have to this is Starship, right? And Starship's pretty damn cool. I'm pretty damn grateful for that, but more? Why is it not pointy enough? It needs to be more pointy. It cannot be pointy. How are we supposed to instill fear into our enemies if we don't have gigantic kilometer ships taking off? That's sick. That's so freaking cool. You could call it a moist dock and technically be correct. Yes. But we're in the desert, so the humidity might be low. But also, yes. Imagine how much it costs to just launch it. Yeah, that's probably expensive. Is it heavy? Good. Then it's then expensive. Then it's expensive. Put it down. We could build an O'Neill cylinder. We could build the Pillar of Autumn. Cylinder is much bigger. Lunprod, all I'm saying, dude, is if we have sufficient propulsion, you could build this. You could build this in space. The octagonal grid is actually, I would say that this octoball matrix is strong enough. Like, this, you could make this. Sure. This is strong enough to, like, you could make this into a spaceship. There's no reason why we couldn't do this. I mean, welding in space is definitely something we should probably figure out. I could tend to say that, like, friction stir welding in space would probably be a better application there, but... Yeah. Either way, sorry, I digest. But I digest. No, yeah, that's, I don't see why we couldn't do this. Like, it's definitely possible. We need to figure out how to manufacture in space a little bit better, but that's not beyond... What, we can't figure that out? Of course we can figure that out. Oh yeah, well, we could just call the aliens to do it? Yeah. The boosters are reused, Raiden, in Halo. They just crash into the ground. They're not that far off the deck. I mean, and let's be real, if you're making a booster that's strong enough to withhandle the chamber pressure to push up however heavy this freaking ship is, it can take a little bit of a hit into the ground. It'll be fine. It's not like those boosters on the Pillar of Autumn that used it to fly up into space are made of aluminum or something. There's no freaking way. You want to know what the crazy thing is? Each one of those is basically a Sea Dragon. Like, if you, I mean, how much mass is the Pillar of Autumn? For real. How heavy is this ship? Does it say? So cool. How about build it on the moon? Yeah, maybe. There's only one ship. One, are you sure? Yes, they called it the Pillar of Autumn. 9 million tons. I thought they got dumped into a scrapyard. No, like I said, in the book, in Fall of Reach, it may have been Fall of Reach. I haven't, you know what? I should go back and read Fall of Reach. It was explained somewhere, Raiden, that those things are reused. They just fall over here. That's not that far, dude. That they're less than a kilometer off the deck. And look, like I said, if they're strong enough to be able to handle the chamber pressure that's required to generate the thrust to get above 1 thrust of weight for 9 million tons of mass, I think we're okay. I think if it can do that and not pop, it'll survive a little fall. The closest thing we ever came to building one of those was a concept called Sea Dragon, if anybody wants to know. If you've watched For All Mankind, you know what that is. Sea Dragon was a rocket that's basically a big dumb rocket. It's a gigantic cryogenic pressure-fed 2-stage to orbit vehicle. And Sea Dragon would not have required a launch pad. The guy that came up with it, and it was an engineer by the name of Robert Truax. And Robert Truax theorized that, you know, instead of making a rocket out of basically airplane materials, so like rockets are made out of aluminum, and they have a lot of, you know, titanium and niobium and all these kind of rare earth metals. He's like, wait a minute. Why don't we just make one out of steel? And just basically make something that brute forces stuff into space. What, do we not have strong enough steel? We can make aircraft carriers, all right? Aircraft carriers need to be able to be buoyant. They need to be able to withstand a pretty good significant hydraulic pressure, right? Because the water's pushing in on the hull all the time, right? Like, so we can use ship-grade steel to build a rocket, and that's the idea. Sea Dragon would have been built in an aircraft carrier's dry dock by a shipyard out of marine steel, like an aircraft carrier, right? And what they would have done is they would have floated it out of the dry dock, filled the thing up with propellants, and then put ballast tanks down at the bottom. The ballast tanks, you know, they would tow it horizontally, right, to wherever they want to launch it from, right? I said fill it a second ago. They wouldn't have done that. They towed it to the launch site. They would have had a regular tanker, like a ship tanker, fill this thing up with propellants, add ballast to the ballast tanks, turn the thing upright, and then launch it right out of the water. The crazy thing is that Sea Dragon would have been reusable. Its first stage would have been reusable because it's so ridiculously big and so ridiculously strong. When it came down and hit the water, it just splashed right down. No problem, just go get it. Whatever, just bring it back. Yeah, if you watch For All Mankind, you've seen Sea Dragons. It's pretty smart, dude. No turbine machinery or anything required. It just uses pressure. It just uses the residual pressure from the tanks to make this big freaking rocket engine go. Frankly, there's no turbine machinery in the world that can make a rocket engine that's as wide as like the dome on the Capitol building work. But yeah, it's not the worst idea. Like, see that little thing up there? That's the Apollo capsule. That's the Apollo command module. Up here is your payload fairing. Sea Dragon would have had 450 metric tons to orbit. So like I said, the tech to do that is here. We have that. It's just we don't know how to make this. This part? Oh yeah, we can figure that out. We figured that out in the 60s. It's this part that might be, you know, useful to figure out soon. This part, we can do that. Yeah, we could get that done. No problem. That whole fusion thing, that would be important. Might be important. How different is this tech from a sea-launched ICBM? Very different. Excuse me, one fusion. Alright. How much LOX could an oil tanker hold? Enough to fill that thing up. Looks good. Yeah, framing looks pretty good. Have you already tested making factory modules that are going to fit in the octospheres? No, it's kind of an unknown, Joshua. It's going to definitely require some spatial reorganization of my current template designs, but I'm sure we can figure something out, dude. There's a way to get around this, dudes. I'm not too worried about it. What can we use that will place off of this, just out of curiosity? I'm just looking around. It's speculative, Hellfish. We don't know for sure, but yeah, either way, if it is, even if it has a modicum of truth to it, not great, not a good thing. Everybody in chat has the idea of the billboards, because we know the billboards, they definitely attach. They can attach to the beams, and then you can nudge them. See? Yeah, Nathan, the other thing would be to just layer in a bunch of beams. I would want to look into prefabs if we were going to do something like that, but that would give us the most creative freedom by a long shot. Where does the beam go? That's right, it goes in the square hole. Can the game even handle the object count? I don't know, Sancho. I'm thinking though, if it can take what you see on the screen, I think we're okay. I'm just you know, putting it out there. Seems to be growing well. Yet, I mean, look, man, we got about 80,000 parts in scene right now. Everything bodes, well, actually, it's more than that because of the dock. Look, if we were going to get a slowdown, it would have happened already. But this project is... I decided to do this. One of the reasons why I decided to do this is to see what UE5 can do. I want to see what Unreal can do. I want to see if we can make this whole thing. Now, I do have some ideas. I think it'll be able to do it. And one of the reasons why I think it'll be able to do it is because, well, you're not going to see the entire interior of the ship all at once. Think about it. You're not going to. Like, all this is going to be covered up with components. So even when you're like, Satisfactory is actually disgustingly good at optimization, from what I can tell. Like, right now, behind the walls of the trench, there's an entire lattice of concrete that's just not being rendered. So, if Satisfactory is as good at optimization as I think it is, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty damn good with UE5, the way I build this, you should be able to get pretty consistent frames despite the entire ship being modeled. Because you're not going to see the entire ship all at once. If you're walking in a corridor inside of this, it's only going to render what you can see. Something's wrong. We screwed something up. Well, we know it's... Alright, let's check with what we just made, just to make sure. That last hypotenuse beam was 34, not 33, whatever. Oh, it's 3312, socks. Okay, let me check. Let me check it. Let me check it. Let me check it. Hey, Coltec. Just one final thing before we figure this out. Regarding, like, optimization and how much it can take. I'm gonna build it till my game breaks. I'll just keep going until the game breaks. And hopefully, you know, we can get to the point where we have the whole ship finished and the game doesn't absolutely take a dump. Okay. Okay, that's good. Oh, no it's not. No, it is not good at all. Okay, yeah. It's just, we have to make sure when we're building the diagonals that the diagonals are snapped to the right piece. If we snap the beam to the diagonal, you're gonna get a discrepancy here. The diagonals have to be snapped to here because that point is snapped to the horizontal. It's just the workflow, guys. It's the workflow in building it. That's all. Excellent coverage of Create Splashdown as always. Thanks, man. Like, see, look. You attached it See, look, see how it's moving? You gotta make sure it's attached to the right thing. So I just gotta, when we build this stuff, we just gotta make sure we're locked into the right thing. Because there's, yeah, it could screw up the orientation if it's locked into something else. No, we're good. We're fine. No panic. What if the game handles it? Well... Nope. Sorry, give me 1 second. If the game handles it, I'll build the rest of the shipyard. And we'll build a frigate. Just for fun. Yeah, see? See, you gotta be careful about how it snaps. You just gotta keep an eye on it. No problem. If the game can handle it, I'll build the rest of the scrapyard and stuff. We'll build a frigate being dismantled. Or, you know what? We'll build it being built or something. Because that's cooler. Building things is cooler than taking them apart. I'll build the booster tugs, absolutely. Yeah, we'll build those. They're gonna be attached to the ship. I know this is a little tough on the eyes, but if you look, those are the pieces that I'm looking at. Looks good. Was there any additional progress besides all the framework going in? Yeah, Blazing. Yeah, the Twitch encoder probably doesn't like this. Have you given any thought of how you're going to skin the diagonal walls? Derek, it's probably going to be with billboards, or we're going to have to sit here and do a copious amount of beam work. But you could probably get away with it like that. For the armor plating and stuff. Yeah. You're a goober. Yeah, tell me something I don't know. In terms of stuff that's changed, Blazing, don't do that yet. Do the horizontals last. Okay, so I went, I needed to scale steel, right? So what I ended up doing is going out into the wilderness, killing a bunch of things, and, or I needed to expand, yeah, I needed to expand steel, so what I ended up doing is going into the wilderness with the rifle, killing a bunch of things, getting a bunch of summer sloops and mercer spheres, and then slooping my steel production instead to give me the build rate that I want. Doubling the steel rate is good enough. Like you could, yeah, I don't need to produce crazy amounts of steel. We just need to produce it at a rate that I can, basically at a rate that replenishes faster than I can build. There might be times where the demand will be in flux, but for the most part, right now, with building all this, I do run out of steel every once in a while, but it's not that big a deal. That's going to be a boatload of mats for the billboards. We're going to have to scale other things, Raiden, if we decide to do that way. Alright, so diagonal, there, to there. Make sure we're attached to the straight piece, diagonal. This needs to read 32.12 meters. Okay. Now we make sure we're attached to the horizontal. Right? It is the horizontal, correct? Let me just place this and check. Yep. That gives us a nice, very tight tolerance there. Oh my gosh, what are you building? Pillar of Autumn from Halo. You know, we have great scalability with Satisfactory in 1.0 because of Unreal 5. I mean, I know Unreal 5 came before. But I figure if we're going to build something big. And I didn't just want to build a factory like everybody else, Scheme. So I decided to build my factory and do a spaceship. 10.29 should be the reading here. Good. That's insane? Yes. I know. So I'm building out the structure for a 1.1 kilometer long spaceship. And I'm going to build my factory inside of it. And I'm not only building that, but I'm building a catch dock for it here that'll have arms that grab the ship like in Halo Reach. Like that. This is what I'm making for the people that don't know what the Pillar of Autumn is. This is what I'm making, and I'm going to have resource elevators in the hold down in the catch arms. And the dry dock right here will be a hub. I'll be, we'll deliver resources from around the map that we need, oil, water, nitrogen, whatever. Bauxite, iron, whatever we want. And yeah, we'll elevate the raw materials, or at least semi-refined materials, up into here, and then factory will be inside of the cargo bays in the ship. Why is there garlic in your Windows search bar? I don't know, dude. It's World Pasta Day. If everything has a freaking holiday, nothing has a freaking holiday, alright? So stupid. It's literally participation trophies for food. But pasta. I don't need a damn day to celebrate pasta. I'm Italian. I just eat pasta. Every day is pasta day for me. I'm going to Vegas in a few weeks. Got any recommendations? Only bring money. Only bring cash along with you that you're prepared to lose. I'm pretty sure that's not what you're asking though, Jim. I like the Cosmopolitan and the Venetian. Or not the Cosmopolitan, the Palazzo and the Venetian. That's cool. Yeah, I guess my recommendation would be to explore. The casinos are long, endless mazes of cool stuff, and it's designed to keep you inside, but whatever. It's still cool. Bye. To give the Covenant back their bomb. Permission granted. Sir, permission to leave the station. For what purpose, Master Chief? To give the Covenant back their bomb. Permission granted. It's one of my all-time favorite cutscenes, X-Wing, from any game. Doesn't get better than that. Just booked a stay at the Palazzo, lots of fun stuff to see there. Planning to go to a bunch of museums. Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's good stuff. Fremont Street? Derek? Fremont Street is cool. That's a good point. That's a good point. Jim, go to Old Las Vegas. That's a pretty fun time. Old Las Vegas is a glimpse into a Las Vegas that most people just don't generally understand. Old Las Vegas is cool, man. Headed outside, X-Wing to move a bunch of dirt around. Cool. Alright, man. Can mayonnaise have a holiday? Sure. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm talking to Kevin real quick. Wow, I wasn't expecting that much progress. Now, we burned the candle at both ends last night waiting for Crew 8. Yeah. Okay, actually, something that we have time to work on. 2 docks down, 2 to go. Yep. Raiden, what I was thinking we could work on is kind of the front of the ship, where the front of the hull segment 4 frame is. Get rid of the test prints right there and build it out accordingly. I'm pretty sure that the markers, we have a half box forward here, so 8 meter forward. Pretty sure, which shouldn't be that hard to do. If you look at where it is to the marker, I'm pretty sure that marks the front of hull segment 4. If not, we could do a 16 vertical forward. Where does that land us? I'm pretty sure the back edge of this is where we need to be. The 16er box goes past it a little bit, but also that's definitely the front bulkhead on the ship, and that lines up almost perfectly with that. It's kind of halfway in between these. Looks like a molecular lattice. It looks like something, dude. Looks like the bulkhead is at 16. I agree. I think a 16 box is the way to go. I was originally going to do a half box here, but that makes no sense if we're just going to continue with the grid structure into all segment 3 and 2, right? Like, that makes no sense. Okay, so the reason, guys, the reason why I brought this up is because what I want to do here is this. This is going to get us where the front of our frame is for the, basically the front part of hull segment 4. So I'm talking about, like, see right here? See, there's a big flat spot right there before, in the transition between hull segment 4, which is this big meaty bit, and hull segment 3, which is that part with the nuclear missile launchers. See what I'm talking about? Also, why is there lights on armor plating? There's supposed to be a nuclear missile launcher there. Just putting it out there. Just saying. So that gives us basically a point right here that we can work off of. That's where the 2D people live. Oh yeah, that's right. That's where the 2D people live. We go forward 36, and then from here, 16, 29 down, go through. Oh, yeah, it pretty much, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. I agree with you, EJ. They could have used the missile cell exhaust fence as the greebling where those windows were. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I see it, Raiden. So for this last one, it really does just need to be That one really, that last one needs to be attached to the diagonal to get this to look right. And that's going to offset it a little bit right there. Not really too worried about it. So, if that's the case, get rid of that. XB1 call sign Kestrel 1-1 has taken off. Awesome. Now, I did make this from top to bottom instead of bottom to top, and I'm not sure. That might have a difference in the design, but, you know, we'll check. Who you got for El Clasico tomorrow? What do you mean? Think you're talking about World Series as father? Yeah? Oh boy, am I the only soccer fan in here. Oh jeez. This is awkward. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, homie, but that means that doesn't mean I don't want to hear about it. So, Real Madrid versus FC Barcelona. Oh. Now, here's the thing. I know enough about soccer to know that that's a big deal. I'm going to go with Barcelona, I think. Not because I like that team, but I think Barcelona will win. But Real Madrid doesn't suck either. They're pretty good. They're two pretty damn good teams. It's like Ohio State versus Michigan. Yeah, except Ohio State should just lose. Perpetually. There's the discrepancy right there with that beam. Yep, fixed. Hoverpack power check. It's working off of electromagnetic fields. I wired up the... See, these orange beams that are going here with the wiring on them are temporary. I will be removing them. But I installed the temp power harness on them because, well, you know. Yeah, this hoverpack is super easy to use. It's super nice. I don't know why you guys didn't tell me to use it earlier. You know, like, thanks, guys. No, chat was bugging me. They're like, you gotta use the hover package. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, no, good call. So yeah, the whole ship is wired up. I can basically hover around anywhere. The real reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to go from here. I wanted to measure 36 forward, and I wanted to figure out where the end of hull segment 4 is. Alright, Brayden, let's take a look. Why are you awake? You were up to 4 a.m. I went to bed at 5:30. Titan decided he wanted to play at 5:30 in the damn morning. So I gave him food instead, and he fell asleep on me. He fell asleep on me. The dog fell asleep on me trying to get me to play with him. It's not a bad life, dude. The dog was on me, putting his paw on me, and then he kind of just lied down and he fell asleep on me. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. He's my boy. Like I said, he's really... Everybody said, like, oh, when you have a rescue dog, 6 months. Yeah, no, you know, we're June, July, August, September, October. See what I mean? Yeah, he's really... His peanut brain has figured out that we love him, and this is his home. It took him a second, but he's there. And he's my boy, and he makes me happy. He's still a little bit of a piranha puppy, though. But that's okay. All right, we can get rid of the test sizing here. That's just being a healer. Yep. Yep. You know, I'm gonna get rid of the test sizing. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we don't need it. I was gonna say, we might want to keep it to figure out where hull segment 3 and everything goes, but we have this to figure out where that goes, so yeah, these are just extra parts at this point. I used this to test the shape and height of the octos. And then I use these beams over here to figure out where the docking bays go. Yeah, exactly, God. He just... That's all he does. It's only when you're playing. He doesn't do that all the time. Especially now that he knows, you know, what's good. What breed is your dog? Titan is a mix, dude. He's a rescue. He's, cattle dog. It's gotta have some hound in him. He's Australian cattle dog. Gotta have some hound in him, and he might have a little bit of pit bull in him. Just a smidge. I think that's part of the sub-assembly, if I'm remembering right. I think I... So yeah, ARJ, he's a mixed, but dude, this dog has hound in him all day. Like, if I show you, if I showed you guys him moving around in the backyard, like, just the way he kind of sniffs around and stuff, this dog definitely got some hound in him. I don't know which one, but he does howl like a hound dog. But I mean, that might be a cattle dog thing. I don't know too much about Australian cattle dogs, to be honest with you. Position of the forward bulkheads. The forward bulkhead here looks fine. But how long is the plating sticking out? How long is the plating sticking out? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. What I marked, Raiden, here is just what I think hull segment 4 looks like with no armor plating on it. So if you took all the armor plating off. I got rid of all these, see all the angles and stuff? Where I marked in Maya, and what the measurements that I did was off of parts of the ship. Minus the armor plating. So, okay, where am I right now in the game? So I would be right here, and right here, this point would be, there would be armor plating on this side, or over here. I mean, see the lip? We're basically right here. There's a little bit of an overlap on the lip of plating right there. Actually, we're more like right there. See that vertex? Yeah, exactly. Would be right, but we're in line with this. We don't have the lip taken into account. We're right here. See, because trying to figure out proportions for all of the plating for the armor would be weird. So the front bulkhead, a hull segment 4. See that face, dudes? The one that I have highlighted in Maya right here? See that? that face is this right here. See this, where this, basically where that beam is. So the armor plating is going to go forward a little bit. Just a little ways from here. Drool, my full intention is to release this. Yeah, so people can explore it and appreciate it. No, I wasn't looking for the size of the armor. No. If I had to guess, that's probably... And I know we shouldn't guess, I get it. 5 meter thick. Yeah, about 5 meters thick. That actually I think is the lore. I think it's got 5 meter armor plating. Titanium A armor plating. Which is a super strong, super dense titanium alloy that exists in the Halo universe. And see, down here at the bottom, I don't have this right here. This thing is a cargo loading area. So like when the ship is docked on orbit, the space station that it docks to can stage cargo here. And then there's a elevator that goes up into the cargo holds from here. So, I mean, I don't think we necessarily have to do that. I read somewhere that it's 2 meter thick armor. The model is showing 5 on pod, but I'm gonna model this shape, even if it's not right, because if we tried to make it 2, this would look ridiculous. It would look stupid, right? It looks to be about 4 or 5 in the 3D model. Kelly Airport just interviewed on CNBC. Boeing is exploring selling its space division. I heard about that dark room. That's not good. Jim, I've noticed the skies have been pretty clear lately. I went out after Crew 8 splashdown yesterday, and yeah, I spent a good time just looking at the sky. Down here on the Cape, especially now that it's winter, no one's down here, so there's not nearly as much light pollution. Dude, I can see some, oh boy, what the hell's the name of it? When you can see the stardust from the galaxies and stuff, you can see them with the naked eye down here, which is pretty cool. I thought that was super neat. I can just sit there. If you sit there and look long enough at the sky, you can see, yeah, you can see the Milky Way, which is pretty cool. Only a little bit of it. Yeah, only a little bit of it though. But you can see it, which is super cool. Either that or I saw that comet that was, that just passed by. It's one or the other. Couldn't really tell. Comet is early evening. You wouldn't see that at 3 a.m. Okay. Comet would be to the southwest. Okay, that is not. I saw some of the Milky Way. That's exactly what we saw. Like, I'm not a stargazer, guys, ironically. You wouldn't expect that, but That's not really where my joy lies with spaceflight. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating by any means. That is... Staring up at the stars is what sparked the curiosity, so I get it. Don't worry. I have a telescope. I have a Celestron. It's in the garage. Oh no. What have you watched with your telescope? Nothing. It's still in the box. I got it for free. Oh, Tally, damn. Wow. Raiden, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, which... So let's take a look. So this beam is a ½ meter below the guide beam, right? This is my platforms are a ½ meter, right? The platforms are aligned. These are the platforms from our original measurements. Those are the platforms that we have our grid, the octoball placement is based off of that. So this beam should be there. It should be there. Yeah. Just like the other guide beams for this are a ½ meter below. Actually, hold on. Hold on. This is wrong, but I don't know how it's wrong just yet. Give me a moment. Yeah. I made the bottom ship armor off of the guide beams. I'm not sure why I did that, but I did do that. And if we made it off of the guide beams, the top guide beam is going to be a half meter too low. So yeah, okay, that is what happened. All right, sweet. Now, what's the solution? The solution is I have to redo the top lattice work. Not any of the cubes or anything. The cubes are fine. I don't know why I did that. Why would I base it off of the guide beams, Raiden? But see, here's the thing. We did all the triangles and all the Pythagorean theorem off of that to get these angles right and to make that angle. I don't want to do that again. I don't think we need to. I don't think we want to. I definitely don't want to. There's nothing wrong with putting it off the guide beams, but to be 100% honest, I should not have done that. It should have been off of this. We should have placed it off of there. It should be off the octos. I don't see any downside to having this staggered like this. I don't really, there's no, I can't foresee any downsides, but there's always unknown unknowns, right? But yeah, that's where we're getting our discrepancy from. We're a half meter off on basically all these diagonals. They're all wrong. Yeah, should have noticed that. Talking paint makes the shipbuilder you ain't. Frickin' fix it. Didn't that have something to do with floor height or ceiling inside of the octos? I made them off the guide beam. Fix it? Yes, exactly. My guide beams have to be a half meter offset from the grids in order to get the decks to fit correctly. In order to get the grids to, the octo grids to fit together. So the guide beam up here is offset. So it's offset, just like the one down there is offset. This one ended up being offset inside of them because that one down there at the bottom is offset outside of them. This needs to be 1 meter taller. It needs to be right there. That's where that beam needs to be if it's going to be mirrored to the bottom of the ship. That's why we're 1 meter off. We have a 1 meter discrepancy. Not a big deal. Like I said, finding these problems now is probably a good idea. It's a lot trying to keep up with the beast of the build. But Fix It, I think you're keeping up better than most because you noticed that it had to do with the guide beam offset from the deck spacing. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's exactly what we screwed up. Now, see, here's the thing. I don't mind screwing up like this. It doesn't bother me. I'm a streamer. You're going to screw up something somewhere, okay? Especially when you're doing a lot of math on stream. Doing math in public makes you dumber. I don't know what that's about. It's just a thing, right? As long as I know what I did wrong, I don't care. I really don't. It's not going to take too much time to redo this. An hour at best. Don't get me wrong, we don't want to keep doing this. That would be bad. I don't want to keep screwing up because then this is never going to get done correctly. However, it's not that big of a deal, especially not at this phase. This is the stuff you want to get right. As we do this more and more, the amount of errors that we make should go down, right? And because we took our time, especially with getting the deck spacing and everything right, it should come together. It should come together real quick. It should be easier to do bulk work like this. Like, because we did all that work with making sure that all of the octo balls, like, I sat there measuring this for like a week. Like all last week, we were figuring, maybe not all last week. A good amount of streams were done figuring out the spacing, figuring out the cubes, figuring out how the decks are placed, how everything's going to fit together like puzzle pieces, right? I spent a good amount of time with that. Because we spent the time there, we don't need to spend the time here. That's why I seemingly just have half of a ship built like that. You know what I mean? That's good engineering. That's good planning. But no plan survives first contact with the enemy, too. You're always going to have curveballs. That's also just engineering. That happens. How you deal with it is what makes you a good engineer or not. Now, me, I'm not an engineer. I just play one on Twitch, you know? But you get the idea. These are still good principles to learn if you like engineering. So, if I mean, to be 100% real, we might not have to do anything. I might just leave it. I might just leave it. Who's gonna notice? Other than the people that are watching this and noticing right now. Who's gonna notice? No one's gonna see that. No, look, you're not gonna notice a 1 meter discrepancy on this ship if you're standing down there on the dock looking at it. Most people that see this are gonna be like, mine's like, I'm gonna tell everybody. Yeah. I don't have the time to fix it now, but we'll fix this next week. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, but I shouldn't have made it off of the guide beams. In fact, I probably should think about why I made that decision. But once again, as long as we know why the discrepancy is there, that's really all I care about. See how that beam isn't lined up here? It's supposed to be there. It is exactly 1 meter off. See what I'm talking about? Those are almost perfectly parallel. Now, it's not going to be perfectly parallel because of the geometry here, the geometry involved, but you get the idea. In case this isn't on the docket for Flame Trench, you might want to see this Boeing news. Yeah, Creeper, I appreciate it. It's, believe me, people have linked it up. I think it might be a good idea to do an emergency space news right before Flame Trench. Meter, he said meter. Yeah, I know what meters are. I don't know what a kilometer is. What the hell's a kilometer? That's a, please. It's a joke. Please. The octos are sticking out in some places that you might not want. The armor plating should fix that, Raiden. However we figure out to do that problem, the armor plating will cover it up. Not too concerned. Sounds like we have to scrap the whole thing and start over. Should probably write down some sort of note for yourself to remind. Matt, I won't forget that. I don't forget when I screw up, dude. It's the mark of somebody that's anal retentive. That's gonna be a thorn in my mind all weekend. Oh yeah. I'm gonna be thinking about this all weekend, fixing it. Face the wall, please. In fact, to fix this, I think we should play Satisfactory on Monday. We'll omit workers for a week. We gotta make more progress on this. Like I said, Christmas. Bakalaka Dakistan ain't going anywhere. It's streaming live today. Busy Dreams is on the way. Bakalaka Dakistan's the plan. We're gonna need you to file an NCR report regarding the deviation from design specifications. There is no design specifications. Yeah, here, let me just go get my, my for unlawful carnal knowledge Oscar Foxtrot form, and, yeah. Yeah, you know, let me just go get it. I'll write it down, you know, I'll write it down, I'll show it to you, it'll be great. Just kidding, never left. Yeah, once again, it's not that big of a deal. But a little bit of a setback. Once again, I ain't worried. What I'm more wondering about is you guys probably want to discuss what's going on with Boeing. That's kind of big news. So, what I think we'll do is a little mini space and rocket review before Flame Trench. I'll probably start that at 1/2 because at 4:30 I have to go get ready for the Flame Trench. You know, so we'll probably do that. So let me just kind of finish up here. You based it off the guide beams because that's the center line and you went out 40 from there. Yeah, but I based it off the wrong damn guide beam. But it was close enough that I wouldn't notice the discrepancy. Once again, that I wouldn't count that as too much of a screw up, Raiden. I mean, even though it is, like, it's, hey, honest mistake. That's not like a colossal screw up. It's really not a big deal. Can make that stuff again real fast. Hi, Titans. Oh. Thank you for all the stators. Where do the stators go? That's right. They go in the Mercer Hole storage. Oh, a nuclear Nobelisk. Pipe. I love pipe. More pipe. These Titans love laying pipe. What goes in the square hole? Everything. Look, see? There's the square hole. What goes in it? The stators. See? That's right. They go in the square hole. Yeah, see? Titans have gotten me a little bit of a stockpile. I'm taking those with me when we go and eventually explore the caves. Those are coming with me. Yeah, that and a lot of ammunition. No! That's right, it goes in the square hole. I'm trying to elevate your agony over the weekend. I'm mulling over it. Dude, but... Raiden, don't tempt me on this one. You want to know what the real good solution is to do? Figure out the armor plating offset. Figure out the armor plating offset and build the guide right into the octagons. That means getting rid of the entire thing. That entire outer framework that I've already done. Don't tempt me. You mull over this enough, I'll redo the whole damn thing. I don't care. You know, you notice the stuff, but I notice the stuff too, and I'm the one building it. Don't make me destroy you. Where does the booster go? That's right, it goes in the square hole. Okay, in that case, I suggest a 6 meter armor at the top. Well, the armor plating is going to be on top of that framework that I built. The framework that's encompassing the octos, right? The location of that should be basically at the edge of the octos, so we should build that framework into the octagons, because the original thing that we just made, right? The docking bay design from the test prints that I just disassembled and said I didn't need again, right? Those are built in. So the top diagonals are not built into that, but the side parts where we put the cargo bays is. So once again, there's a discrepancy there on both sides now if we decide to do that way. I don't have a problem doing that like that. I don't have a problem redoing it. We'll redo it and we'll do it faster than we did before. In fact, you mulled over it enough. Yep, I'm doing that. The XP1 has landed. They had telemetry flakiness, so not all the objectives were hit. Yep, you convinced me. This is your fault, by the way. So add the armor to the partial octo blueprints? I don't think we I'm not sure how we would go about doing that, dude. Okay, I misunderstood then, but let's see what you've got in mind. You'll like it, trust me. All right. I have cable in 2 crates. That quartz can come with there. Cable can go there. Quartz can go into interdimensional. Silica can't. That's plastics. That's barrel nuts and cable for whatever reason. Do you believe I have a crate over here that I'm using for motor parts? Yeah, right there. We just flip that sucker off. We're gonna do that right now. That was making AI limiters. I was using that for milestones. Honestly, what is needed for phase 4? I'm just trying to get stuff right in my head. The assembly director system, magnetic field generator, thermal propulsion rocket, and nuclear pasta. Guessing we can't make all of that with the manufacturer, huh? I got a little bit of the framework wrong, Coltech, but it's not a big deal. Ooh, thermal propulsion rocket. 5 modular engines, 2 turbo motors, 6 cooling system, 2 fused. We could make a good amount of that stuff. Oh, fuel rods. That's great. Looks like the thermal propulsion rocket is the only thing that we can make with this. You still have some tickets for mats? We have 4. I could get more. We could go on a DNA capsule hunt. Oh, we have 7. So we have 11 right now. Actually, yeah, with these tiers unlocked, what mats could we buy? Could we just belt out phase 4 from buying tickets? That would be hilarious. No, can't get all of it, but we could get a good amount. $100 tickets for a hard drive? Really? You can buy the components needed to directly create the phase 4 items. Yeah. Let me... Copper powder? Interesting. We can buy those pressure conversion cubes. Okay. Thermal propulsion rockets in the manufacturer. That's turbo motors and modular engines. A magnetic field generator. What is this and what do we need to make it? Control rods and versatile frameworks. Oh. I think I actually have some versatile frameworks left over from before. Well, I guess not. Nope. Assembly. What? It was the quickest way to get it. Supercomputers, adaptive control units. How many of those do we need? 500. Ooh, that's a pretty tall order, huh? We have 11 tickets for Matt's rated. Yeah. Alright, we'll figure this out. Maybe later. Alright, let's go see what the Titans have anything cool for us. Like those. Fused frames. Solid biofuel. Circuit boards. Dead alien. More fused frames. Heck yeah, man. Plates. What are you doing all the way in the corner, buddy? You okay? Hey, buddy. Oh, did you just sneeze? You see him eat his little sneeze. Quick tip, if you want to quickly check the boxes, you can hover the disassemble tool over them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, it took me a second to figure it out. Figure out what you meant. So yeah, phase 4 is doable. If we go out with the rifle, we can, you know, kill a bunch of things, get a bunch of DNA capsules. You know what I'm saying? That was quick. Go back to where slugs were coveted and super hard to find. Dude, I have more slugs than I know what to do with, Matt, because the lizard doggos give them to you. Alright. Well, that's going to do it for this Satisfactory for now and for this week. Guys, yeah, we're going to need to put in 5 days a week of Satisfactory next week, so because we got to keep the ball rolling here. But we'll do a little space news here real quick before we before I need a little bit of downtime to go to do the flame trench. So I hope you enjoyed the quick Satisfactory today. We did make some good progress, man, last night. We got a good section of this ship. Pretty much from about here to about here. That's a good chunk of the structure of the ship done. Next week, we'll finish all of hull segment 4. I'll get it all done. And then, I don't know, where do you think we should go from there? Should we... There's really not structure. There's really not grids in the back of the ship. That's where the motors are. Kind of wondering if we should tackle hull segment 5 after that, or work the grids into hull segments 3, 2, and 1. Once we get all that figured out, we can start doing the outer framework like what I'm doing, right? We can start doing the outer framework. And yeah, then once the outer framework is finished, start placing decks and start figuring out where stuff belongs. That, getting to the step where we start placing the interior components and start moving, like doing subtractive manufacturing on our octo grid matrices, is where, that's the point where I want to be by the end of next week. We need to be there. Grids first, you have a rhythm. How far do you want the octoballs to go? All the way? I don't think they do on the real ship, dude. Well, real ship. I don't think they do that. Like once you get back to basically the end of the cargo bays, from this cross section, it looks like you have a different setup. You know what I mean? Like a different set of grids here. You know what I mean? A different, because you're getting into the thrust. You're getting into the actual thrust structure of this thing. So we need to figure out the location of that sphere, right? And then the other reactor, there's 2 of them. We need to figure out the location of that and the location of the other one down there. And then I think we should build thrust structure into that. Because, like, look. Check this out. That stuff. See what I'm talking about? That's what we need to build. The thrust structure. See the red? We have to start building the octa web, so to speak. The thrust structure for the entire ship. Like, it's like a rocket. It's not that far. It's like a twin engine rocket. It's just it's a big thrust structure. Yep, and we can put the grid. I mean, clearly there's places back here where people go because of the turret battery, the docking bay that's down there, the aft cargo holds, and whatever the heck that thing is on the bottom there. Clearly there is places that people go here. Like, so the grid does go into hull segment 5, but I'm not sure how far, you know? I suspect the area above and below the bays as part of the thrust structure. The bay right there? Yeah, maybe. Need to figure out where the umbilical's attached to as well. Yeah, that's something that was up in the air, Brendan, because it doesn't really look like they're attached to anything. It looks like one of them goes directly into cargo bay 4 on the port and starboard sides. Yeah. I might have to take some creative liberties with the design there and the hold down points. Not that big of a deal. Really, it's not a problem. I can figure out some stuff. The reason why this one might be in the cargo bay is because it might have an access arm built into it, a crew access arm, which makes sense. So you can, you know, they're not going to fly all the equipment into this damn thing. There's got to be some kind of elevator in this thing to get supplies in. You know what I mean? How does gravity work? Magnets. The lateral bays. The area above and below is part of the thrust structure. Yeah, dude, that would make sense. Like, here is pretty beefed up. Like, yeah, that would make sense. Aqualux, yeah. You know, carrier beams going through here above and below the cargo bays. And clearly there's a thicker beam set in there that's kind of more analogous to this back here, right? Like, it's not just regular octagons in there, you know what I mean? Feeding the belts in one of those bays would make it easier. Yeah. The number 4, port and starboard side cargo ports could be used for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. They could be used for. Yeah, like a resource, like where all the resources get elevated in. You know, like we could even make it so cargo bay 4 has the door open. Cargo bay 3 and 2 are closed and there's factory components in there. And then cargo bay 1 is like where drones fly in or something. I think that'd be pretty rad. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. But yeah, once again, you see why I need all the octagons placed? Because there's still a lot of unknowns with this project. Once again, I don't think there's anything that's not doable. My buddy Cirrus, who's a viewer in chat, linked this from another Satisfactory player named Popcac. If people are making this type of stuff, if Popcac can make stuff like this, there is no reason why we can't make anything here. Like, there are clearly tricks to make very complicated shapes in Satisfactory. Yeah, if somebody could figure out how to do that, we can figure out how to build it. I don't think that there's any technical challenge here, so to speak. Does that make sense? Thought we were feeding resources up through the umbilical arms. Some of them, Creation, will feed through the umbilicals. I was thinking feed liquids through the umbilicals. And then the drones, will have drones flying in and out of the cargo bays on the ship. You know, the liquids make sense, right? Because that's what you'd see on a hold down point or a tail service mast. I'm fairly certain some of that was achieved with mods that enhance placement. Oh, if that's the case, that would suck, Hokey. But let me put it to you like this. I'm also confident that we could figure out a solution either way. So, anyway. Yeah, that's where we're at. Let me close this out. And, all right, that's going to do it for Satisfactory for now. Satisfactory is going to be back on Monday. We're going to be back on Monday. Once again, we need to get all of the octos placed to the best of our ability, and then the outer framework done so we can start working. I think going to the thrust structure and working back there is probably going to be what we need to do, guys. Yeah. Got some ML2 news. No. This is going to be, we're talking about Boeing. That's the reason why I'm doing this. If we're just going to talk about that. Okay. So you guys know the drill. If you're watching on the YouTube side of things, guys, I am going to cut this VOD and I'll give you the link to the Flame Trench. Or no, Space News. We're not at Flame Trench just yet, sorry. I'm just going to jog the YouTube VOD. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. Yeah. I agree. What blew up this time? What didn't blow up this time? So yeah, I'm going to jog the YouTube VOD. We'll go to the title screen real quick and we'll do an emergency space and rocket review. I will be back momentarily.